Hello there, and welcome to the Sleepy Science Drift. Tonight we will drift through the quiet ocean of stars to understand how vast our home, the Milky Way, truly is. Take a slow breath. Let the noise of the day fade away. The universe has been moving in silence for billions of years, and tonight we will move with it. Imagine yourself floating, not on water, but in space itself. There is no up, no down, only the soft hum of distance and the glow of stars suspended in the dark. Somewhere within this boundless calm, a tiny world turns, and on that world you rest. Our galaxy is a spinning island made of 400 billion suns. Each one burns alone, yet together they create the faint band of light we call the Milky Way. This island of stars is vast beyond ordinary imagination. Light, the fastest thing known, needs 100,000 years to cross from one side to the other. We live inside it, passengers on a turning disk of fire and dust, orbiting its center as quietly as dust caught in a sunbeam. Right now, you are moving through space at over 500,000 miles per hour. The planet beneath you spins eastward at 1,000 miles per hour. It circles the sun at 67,000. And the sun itself, along with all its planets, moves through the galaxy at 560,000 miles per hour. All this motion, and yet, in your room, you feel still. This stillness is a beautiful illusion. It reminds us that peace does not come from being motionless, but from moving in harmony with everything else. Astronauts often speak of the moment they first see Earth from orbit. They look through the small round window of the spacecraft, searching for something familiar. Cities that once seemed immense become faint clusters of light. Mountains appear like wrinkles in paper. Oceans merge into one shimmering surface. From that height, all borders dissolve. There are no countries, no divisions, only one glowing sphere wrapped in blue. And then, as they look closer, they realize they cannot see their own homes, not even the city they left behind. The distance has erased all detail. What was once enormous becomes invisible. This is the first secret of scale. Distance changes meaning. What we think of as big or small depends only on how far we stand. From space, the tallest building vanishes. From another star, Earth itself fades into a dust mote caught in light. But this erasure of detail is not a loss. It is a lesson. The higher we rise in perspective, the quieter things become. Noise gives way to pattern. The chaos of individual lives softens into the smooth curve of a planet moving in rhythm with its star. Imagine rising higher. At 1,000 miles above the surface, the Earth looks small enough to cradle between your hands. At 10,000, it becomes a marble wrapped in clouds. From the moon, it glows as a delicate jewel, fragile and perfect. From Mars, even that glow begins to fade. From the edges of our solar system, the Earth is a dot of light, pale and trembling. From the next star, even that dot disappears. The universe continues without us noticing. The stars hum on. The galaxies turn. The silence remains unbroken. If you could hold the Earth in your hand, it would feel lighter than it looks. Now imagine shrinking it down to the size of a marble. On that scale, our nearest star would be more than 4,000 miles away. A marble here, and another light years apart. The emptiness between them is astonishing. This is the true texture of the universe. Mostly nothing. Stars, planets, clouds of gas, all drifting through vast seas of silence. Even at the galactic scale, the space between things is what defines them. We live surrounded by nothingness, yet it does not feel lonely. That emptiness is what allows light to travel, what gives stars room to shine. Every gap between them is a breath in the life of the cosmos, and in that breath we find peace. Consider the light from the nearest star beyond our sun. It left its home more than 4 years ago, crossing 25 trillion miles of darkness to reach your eyes tonight. That light began its journey when the world below was different. People were younger. Seasons had changed. The light traveled in silence, untouched by anything, until it found you here, now. When you look at the night sky, you are not seeing the present. You are watching time itself unfold in reverse. The stars are memories written in light. Some of the stars we see are already gone. Their final glow still travels toward us, carrying the last story of their lives. In this sense, the sky is a great archive of endings, each one glowing softly above the living earth. It is not a sad thought. It is a gentle one. Every ending leaves behind a trace of beauty. The death of stars is the reason we exist, for everything that makes us, every atom in our bodies, was forged inside a burning heart long gone. We are, quite literally, the memory of stars. When you gaze upward, you look into the past. Some of the light began its journey before humans ever walked the earth. Some of it left when the first life stirred in ancient seas. Some of it predates our planet entirely, traveling across time so that we could see it now. The universe speaks to us not in words, but in distance. We live inside a galaxy so immense that we can never see it all at once. The Milky Way is like a great forest viewed from within. Surrounded by trunks and leaves, we can never step back to see its full shape. We know it exists because of what surrounds us, but we will never stand outside it. That impossibility gives it beauty. The mystery remains complete. From one side of the galaxy to the other, light must travel 100,000 years. Imagine a single photon leaving the far edge when the first humans were just beginning to use fire. That same photon is still traveling, still moving through the endless dark, and will not arrive here for another 98,000 years. Somewhere, it continues its quiet voyage, unseen, unhurried, unending. To imagine such scales is to let go of ordinary thinking. Our minds were shaped to measure minutes, not millennia. To understand the galaxy, we must feel, not count. The numbers are vast, but the feeling is simple. Calm. The same calm that holds the planets in orbit, that lets light move without friction, that allows space itself to stretch quietly forever. Take a moment to picture the galaxy not as an object, but as a living thing. A great wheel of light, spinning slowly through the dark sea of the universe. Each star, a cell. Each orbit, a heartbeat. Our sun moves around the galactic center once every 250 million years. When it last passed this way, dinosaurs had not yet walked the Earth. Since the birth of the planet, our solar system has made this journey only 18 times. This motion, too slow to feel, defines the rhythm of cosmic life. The galaxy does not rush. It turns with patience. It reminds us that change, even when invisible, is always happening. We live within this turning, moving with it, even when we think we are still. If we could see our galaxy from far away, it would look like a soft spiral of light, its arms curling outward, each curve containing billions of suns. It would appear calm, but that calm is built from constant motion. Stars are born, they burn, they fade, they fall. Clouds of dust drift together, forming new suns, new worlds. The entire galaxy breathes. It inhales when stars ignite, exhales when they die. Between each breath, silence. In that silence lies an understanding deeper than words. Everything changes. Everything continues. Nothing is truly lost. The galaxy's light is old, yet always renewed. The same could be said of us. Now imagine holding a single grain of sand, tiny, weightless. That grain could represent our entire world, every mountain, every ocean, every life that ever lived, reduced to something you could blow away with a breath. On this scale, the moon becomes a pebble a few feet away. The sun grows to the size of a large ball half a mile down the road. And the nearest star? It waits 125,000 miles away. Empty space stretches between them, vast and silent. This image is not meant to make you feel small, but to help you see that smallness is not weakness. A grain of sand holds the shape of the beach. A single human moment holds the echo of the cosmos. The same physics that guides stars also guides your breath. The same silence that fills interstellar space fills the pause between your heartbeats. When we think of space, we often imagine danger, isolation, endless cold. Yet the truth is gentler. The universe is not cruel. It is quiet. Its stillness invites us to listen. If we stop trying to measure it, we begin to feel its peace. The stars are not shouting. They are whispering. Somewhere between the particles of dust and the glow of distant suns, there is harmony. The earth moves in its orbit, not by will, but by trust in the balance of gravity. The galaxy turns, not because it must, but because turning is its nature. Motion and stillness are one thing. We can learn from that. Our existence is built upon motion we cannot sense. Every breath you take is carried on air that moves because the planet spins. Every beam of sunlight that warms you comes from a star that is also falling around another invisible center. Everything drifts, everything flows, even you. The next time you look at the night sky, think of it as a slow river. You are not standing beneath it. You are floating within it. The stars do not look down on you. They move with you. The galaxy is not outside your life. It is the background in which your life unfolds. All the while, light continues to travel. From the farthest edges of the Milky Way, ancient beams cross the void, carrying messages written in energy. They will outlive us, our species, even our planet. Yet at this moment, they touch your eyes. The oldest light in the universe meets the youngest consciousness it has ever known. This meeting is the quiet miracle of awareness. To be alive is to witness light that began its journey before life existed. It connects us backward through time, a thread of gold woven through the dark. Each star you see is a reminder that existence is not fleeting. Even when gone, its light continues. So, as you drift deeper into stillness tonight, remember this. You are moving faster than you can imagine, yet you are safe in the calm of motion. You are surrounded by emptiness, yet filled with light. You are small, but you belong to something vast and kind. The Milky Way spins gently through space. The stars drift in slow patterns of light. And somewhere, within one quiet corner of it all, a small planet turns, carrying you softly through the dark. The galaxy breathes. You breathe with it. That is enough. For most of human history, we believed we lived at the center of everything. The sun rose and fell above us. The stars circled overhead, and the heavens seemed to move while the earth remained still. It was a comforting illusion, a story that placed our world at the heart of creation. But truth has a way of humbling us gently, like light filtering through clouds. The more we looked outward, the more we realized how small we were and how vast the stage upon which we drift. Centuries ago, before satellites, before telescopes powerful enough to pierce the heart of darkness, the night sky was our only map. It appeared like a bowl scattered with silver dust. People traced animals and gods among the constellations. Each culture looked upward and saw reflection, not revelation. Then, as our instruments improved, that reflection began to change. The stars were not painted on a distant ceiling. They were suns themselves, each one far away. The universe was not revolving around us. We were moving inside it. In the early 20th century, a man named Harlow Shapley looked at the sky and asked a simple question: where, exactly, are we in all this? He studied clusters of ancient stars that floated around the Milky Way like lanterns on the edge of a great lake. Each cluster, a congregation of thousands of suns, orbited the galaxy's hidden center. By measuring their distances, Shapley discovered that we were not at the core, but far from it, near the outskirts of the spiral. Humanity had been pushed further outward in its own story. First, we learned that Earth was not the center of the solar system. Then, Shapley showed us that even the sun itself was a resident of the galactic suburbs. The method he used was delicate and beautiful. Within those clusters, he found a type of star that pulsed rhythmically, brightening and dimming with perfect consistency. These were called Cepheid variables. The rate of their heartbeat revealed their true brightness. By comparing how bright they looked from Earth to how bright they truly were, Shapley could calculate how far away they must be. Light became a ruler. Time became a compass. With patience and mathematics, he mapped what no one could see: the invisible architecture of our home. From those flickering lights, he built a vision of the galaxy that was 100,000 light-years across. Imagine that. Light, traveling at 670 million miles per hour, would take 100 millennia to cross from one edge to the other. Our solar system sits about 26,000 light-years from the center, closer to the outer rim than the glowing heart. What he revealed was astonishing. The Milky Way was not a small, cozy cluster of stars surrounding us. It was a sprawling island of light, and we were drifting near its edge, like a cabin at the border of a great city. For those who first heard his findings, it must have felt disorienting, almost spiritual. Once again, humanity had been relocated by the universe itself. Yet the revelation brought not despair, but clarity. To know that we live far from the center is to understand the importance of quiet. Life thrives in the margins, where things are calm enough to grow. The center of the galaxy is not a peaceful place. It is a storm. At the heart of the Milky Way lies a gravitational presence so intense that it bends space and time. Astronomers call it Sagittarius A. It is a supermassive black hole containing the mass of 4 million suns compacted into a region smaller than the orbit of Mercury. Nothing that crosses its threshold ever returns. Even light itself becomes a memory there, spiraling inward until it vanishes from sight. Yet without that darkness, the galaxy would not exist. The black hole's gravity holds everything together, binding billions of stars in a slow, eternal dance. If you could hover safely above that region, the view would be breathtaking. Clouds of gas swirl like mist around a drain, glowing as friction heats them to millions of degrees. Stars race past one another at speeds exceeding 3,000 miles per second. Some complete entire orbits in a matter of years, tracing luminous loops around the invisible anchor. This motion reveals the black hole's presence, even though it cannot be seen directly. It is as if a great musician plays a note too deep to hear, and we perceive the music only through the vibration of nearby strings. For all its power, Sagittarius A is quiet now. It consumes little material, dozing at the center like a sleeping giant. Occasionally it feeds when a cloud or unlucky star wanders too close. The matter spirals inward, glowing fiercely before disappearing. For a brief time, the center blazes brighter than any other region in the sky. Then, silence again. The galaxy resumes its slow rotation as if nothing had happened. Our position, far from that turmoil, is a gift. If we lived near the core, the radiation and gravitational chaos would make life impossible. Instead, we orbit in a tranquil arm of the spiral, 26,000 light-years away, bathed in gentle starlight. Here, time feels steady. The cosmic storms rage far away, and we have space to think, to evolve, to dream. The universe, it seems, built a quiet corner for consciousness to awaken. From this distance, the center's pull is still felt. It keeps us in orbit, along with every other star. We move together, a vast collection of suns circling an unseen point. One revolution takes about 250 million years. When our solar system last occupied this part of its path, the continents of Earth were joined as one, forming the supercontinent Pangaea. The first dinosaurs were only beginning to appear. In all the time since, we have completed less than one full galactic year. It gives a strange perspective to human history. Every story, every war, every love, every civilization has unfolded during a fraction of one turn around the center. We are ancient, and yet our journey has barely begun. This slow, stately motion is the galaxy's breath. It inhales and exhales over cosmic ages. The stars move like particles in a vast current, each following its path, yet all bound by one law. Gravity does not rush. It persuades. It pulls with infinite patience. Perhaps that is why the galaxy feels so calm, despite its enormity. Every part moves, but nothing collides. The balance holds. To grasp the scale of that motion is to feel humility dissolve into peace. Imagine standing on a quiet shore while the ocean stretches beyond sight. You cannot see the far side, yet you know it exists. The waves arrive in patterns, each one shaped by forces older than the Earth. So too with the galaxy. We cannot step outside it, but we can sense its shape through the rhythm of its light. Each sunrise and sunset marks our tiny participation in that greater cycle. There is a poetry hidden within the numbers. A black hole's gravity, a star's orbit, a planet's tilt. All these are forms of harmony. The universe does not choose disorder. It prefers balance. Even destruction has its role. When stars near the center explode, they send shock waves that compress clouds of gas, birthing new generations of suns. Death becomes the midwife of creation. The galaxy renews itself endlessly, weaving life and loss into the same fabric. The more we study the cosmos, the more it resembles an organism rather than a machine. It grows, breathes, and responds. The black hole at its center could be seen as a heart, dense, vital, unseen, yet essential. Around it, stars circulate like blood, feeding energy into the spiral arms where new life forms. Our own sun, one of hundreds of billions, is a single spark in that bloodstream. And still, even here at the edge, we feel the heartbeat faintly, the gravitational pulse that keeps us in motion. There is comfort in knowing that our existence depends on something invisible. We trust the pull of a force we cannot see, and it carries us safely through space. In that sense, faith and physics are not so different. Both ask us to believe in what we cannot touch, to recognize that unseen forces sustain us. Gravity is the universe's quiet promise. You belong, you are held, you will not drift away. When Shapley published his results, not everyone believed him. It was hard to accept that the Milky Way could be so vast and that we lived far from its core. But time has confirmed his vision. Modern instruments have refined his measurements, yet the scale remains the same. His insight endures like an echo of wonder. We are not central, but we are part of something beautiful. The edges are just as sacred as the middle. To live on the outskirts is to experience stillness. Imagine a great city viewed from its hills. In the center, lights flash, traffic hums, energy pulses. But in the quiet neighborhoods at the edge, the stars are visible again. The same is true of the galaxy. The core blazes with radiation, while our region glows softly under the warmth of the sun. We exist in the balance between activity and calm, between the fire of creation and the cool distance of reflection. There is another way to think about this. The universe, vast and ancient, could have placed us anywhere. Yet here we are, precisely far enough from danger, precisely close enough to light. The odds of such balance are staggering. Still, it happened. Perhaps that is not luck, but the nature of existence itself. Life finds harmony, and harmony finds life. When we look toward the center of the galaxy, our view is obscured by thick clouds of dust and gas. Visible light cannot pass through them. To study the heart, astronomers must use infrared and radio waves, which slip through the haze and reveal the hidden structure beyond. This teaches us something profound. Often, what seems dark or impenetrable from one perspective is transparent from another. The obstacles we see may not be barriers, but filters reminding us to look differently. From our position, the galactic center lies in the direction of the constellation Sagittarius. When you look there on a clear summer night, you are gazing toward the black hole itself. You cannot see it, but you can see the glow of countless stars orbiting around it. Their light, combined, forms the brightest section of the Milky Way's band. In that direction lies both the source of our motion and the mystery of our origin. The black hole is not a villain in this story. It is a necessary silence, a still point around which everything turns. Without it, the galaxy would drift apart. In its darkness lies the possibility of structure. It reminds us that not all absence is loss. Sometimes emptiness is the shape of what holds everything together. The universe often hides its most essential truths in what we cannot see. Gravity, time, love, awareness, all invisible, all real. The black hole at the center of our galaxy is a cosmic symbol of that truth. It is the unseen heart of a system that endures through balance. Around it, stars dance their slow orbits, each one keeping time with a music we can only imagine. Think of it this way. We are a people living near the edge of a spiral made of light, orbiting a darkness that gives meaning to the light. It is a simple design, elegant and eternal. The stars near us rise and set, the sun warms our oceans, and all of it depends on a gravitational center we will never touch. To live in such a universe is to be reminded that knowledge and mystery can coexist peacefully. So as you drift into stillness, let this awareness settle. We are small, yes, but not insignificant. Our distance from the center is not exile but sanctuary. The black hole does not threaten us, it steadies us. The stars do not look down, they move beside us. The galaxy turns, slowly, endlessly, a wheel of light balanced by an invisible axis. When you close your eyes tonight, imagine that motion continuing. Every second, our solar system glides a little further along its path, following a curve drawn by gravity's patient hand. Somewhere deep within the Milky Way, the heart of darkness turns quietly, and the stars obey. Around that center, life unfolds on a blue planet that thinks and feels and wonders. The night sky is a mirror of our own nature. Within us too lies a center unseen, a still point that holds everything together. Call it consciousness, call it soul, call it gravity of the heart. Whatever its name, it keeps our orbits steady. Like the galaxy, we move because of what we cannot see, and that invisible pull is the most beautiful truth of all. If you could step outside the Milky Way and look back, you would see something both fragile and immense, a spiral of light turning slowly in the dark, its arms unfurling like smoke in water. From a distance, it would seem serene, almost motionless, a cosmic whirlpool suspended in silence. Yet inside that calm, everything is moving. Stars orbit unseen paths. Clouds of dust twist and stretch. The entire galaxy breathes, its pulse measured not in seconds, but in millions of years. This is the shape of our home. A disk of stars 100,000 light-years wide, yet only a few thousand thick. It is as thin as a thought, a ribbon of light stretching across the cosmic sea. If we could see it edge on, it would appear as a narrow band glowing softly against the void, bright at the center and fading toward the edges. From within, we cannot perceive the spiral directly, but its pattern reveals itself in fragments, in the clustering of stars, in the currents of gas, in the faint glow that crosses our night sky. The Milky Way's spiral arms are not rigid structures. They are waves of density, slow-moving ripples in a vast ocean of stars. As each wave passes through, it compresses the gas and dust, creating regions dense enough for new stars to be born. Once those stars ignite, they drift onward, leaving the wave behind. The arm remains, yet the stars that once defined it have moved on. It is like watching wind pass through a field of grass. The pattern stays, though the blades themselves are never the same. Our solar system resides in one of these minor arms, a quiet spur called the Orion Arm. It lies between two grand rivers of starlight, the Sagittarius and Perseus arms, regions far more populated and bright. Here, in this calmer lane, the sun drifts in peace. It is a gentle neighborhood, distant from the violent star-forming regions closer to the center. In this relative stillness, life was allowed to emerge. The calm of our location is no coincidence. It is the quiet margin where complexity can bloom. When we look up on a clear night and see the hazy band stretching across the sky, we are gazing along the plane of this disk. That soft glow is the combined light of billions of distant suns, their brilliance dimmed by distance and dust. It looks like a river, flowing silently from horizon to horizon. Ancient cultures saw it as a path for souls, a bridge to eternity, a road the gods might walk. In a way, they were right. It is a road, not of stone, but of light, connecting the living with the history of the universe. The spiral shape of the galaxy is no accident. It emerges naturally from rotation. As the galaxy turns, differential motion causes the inner parts to move faster than the outer ones. This difference stretches the clouds of stars into elegant curves, much like cream swirling into coffee. The pattern is transient, yet continuous, always renewing itself. It reminds us that beauty in the universe is not static. It is movement caught in balance. To imagine the motion of stars is to picture an immense choreography. Each star follows its orbit as if part of a dance too vast to see in full. The arms are like gentle whirlpools in that dance, regions where gravity and motion weave together. Every star plays a note in this slow symphony, though none can hear the whole composition. We too are part of that music, unaware of the tune we contribute to. When scientists first began to map the structure of the Milky Way, they could not see its full form. The clouds of gas and dust that fill the disk obscure our view. Instead, they listened to the galaxy through radio waves, tracing the motion of hydrogen gas that emits a faint signal across the cosmos. By measuring how these signals shift, they could determine how fast different regions of the galaxy move. Piece by piece, they reconstructed the spiral pattern. What emerged was not a perfect design, but a living one, full of asymmetries and variations. The Milky Way, like everything alive, carries its imperfections gracefully. The arms are nurseries of stars. Within them, clouds of hydrogen collapse under gravity, forming new suns. Around those suns, dust gathers into disks, and within those disks, planets begin to form. Some of those worlds are barren, others may hold oceans or skies. In time, each star will age, swell, and fade, returning its material to the galaxy to be used again. This cycle of birth and decay never ends. It is the galaxy's way of breathing. Every breath creates new light. Our sun was born in one of these spiral arms nearly 5 billion years ago. It emerged from a cloud enriched by the ashes of earlier generations of stars. Somewhere in that ancient region, a burst of light announced its birth, and for a short time, it was one among thousands of siblings. As the cluster dispersed, the sun drifted away, carrying its planets with it, eventually finding a calm orbit where life could take hold. We owe our existence to that gentle drift, to the quiet unfolding of stellar motion. To think of the galaxy's arms as currents rather than structures helps us understand the nature of impermanence. Nothing in the cosmos stands still. Even the pattern of the spiral, so seemingly eternal, changes over time. The arms shift, new ones form, old ones fade. The Milky Way of today is not the same galaxy it was when the dinosaurs walked the Earth, nor will it be the same in the far future. Yet in its changes lies continuity. The form evolves, but the rhythm endures. When we watch clouds move across the sky, we never expect them to stay. Their beauty lies in their passing. The galaxy is the same, only stretched across eons. Its movements are too slow for our eyes to perceive, yet the principle is identical, a dance of energy and matter, shaping itself endlessly. Even the sun's path is not a perfect circle. It weaves gently above and below the galactic plane, like a leaf caught in a current. Every 60 million years or so, it crosses the midline, rising and falling through the cosmic disk. This motion may influence conditions on Earth in subtle ways, altering the environment and perhaps even the rhythms of evolution. The galaxy, in this sense, is not distant. Its motions reach us, shaping the patterns of life itself. Within this vast spiral, there is order hidden inside chaos. The stars move under the influence of gravity, yet their paths appear random to our limited view. Over millions of years, these countless orbits create patterns of astonishing complexity, like ripples overlapping on water. Even the imperfections are part of the design. The universe never insists on symmetry. It prefers the natural balance of variation. When we think of our galaxy as alive, it becomes easier to sense its serenity. The arms are not rigid bones, but flowing veins. The dust clouds are lungs that breathe starlight. The stars are cells, burning, dying, and renewing in a rhythm that never stops. Everything that exists within the Milky Way participates in this great metabolism. Even you, sitting quietly, are part of it. For the atoms in your body were once forged in its fires. The spiral is one of nature's favorite shapes. It appears in the swirl of hurricanes, in the curve of shells, in the twist of DNA. It is the form of growth and continuity, the way energy unfolds without breaking. To see the spiral of the Milky Way is to recognize a pattern that repeats across all scales, from galaxies to galaxies of thought. It is as if the universe speaks one language, and that language is curve, flow, rotation, return. The same spiral appears in the arrangement of galaxies themselves, forming clusters and filaments across the cosmic web. Each level of existence reflects the one above and below it. The galaxy's structure is a mirror of the same law that shapes seashells, whirlpools, and even the patterns of weather. This repetition is not coincidence, but coherence. The universe follows its own rhythm, repeating what works, refining beauty through simplicity. The calmness we feel when we look at the spiral shape may come from its familiarity. Somewhere deep in our biology, we recognize it. It is written into our very being. The spiral mirrors the unfolding of life itself, expanding, yet always curving inward toward a center. The galaxy, with all its stars and storms, follows this gentle law. It does not rush outward in chaos, but turns gracefully, folding its motion into harmony. If we could watch the Milky Way's rotation sped up to the scale of human perception, we would see the arms undulate like waves. Clusters of stars drift apart, new ones gather, patterns ripple outward. It would look like a slow dance of glowing dust, each movement purposeful, yet effortless. This is the art of the cosmos. Everything in motion, yet nothing in haste. The center of the galaxy may hold gravity's deep voice, but the arms are its melody. Here the notes of creation play. Here stars are born and die, giving rise to planets, oceans, and eventually, minds that can look back and wonder. The spiral arms are both cradle and grave, both beginning and end. Their constant motion ensures that the galaxy never truly grows old. When we see the Milky Way stretch across the sky, we are seeing one of these arms from the inside. It arches above us like a bridge of light. The view is incomplete, but it carries the essence of the whole. To see even a part of the galaxy is to sense the vastness of all that lies beyond. That faint shimmer across the night is a promise that we belong to something enormous, something quiet, something eternal. The thought of billions of stars spinning together might seem overwhelming, yet it brings peace. There is no conflict in their motion, no competition, only balance. Each star moves according to the same law, each orbit guided by the same gravity. The entire system functions without command, without need for correction. The galaxy is proof that order does not require control. Harmony can arise from freedom. In this way, the Milky Way becomes a metaphor for the universe within us. Thoughts move like stars, sometimes clustering, sometimes drifting apart. Emotions spiral and fade, but through all of it, a center remains steady, invisible, constant. To live in awareness of this pattern is to find tranquility. We cannot stop the motion, but we can move with it. As light from the spiral arms travels across space, it carries stories older than humanity. Some of that light began its journey before our planet even existed. When it reaches our eyes, it brings with it the memory of creation. To watch the stars is to look through time, to witness the persistence of beauty across eons. The galaxy is both map and mirror. It shows us where we are and who we are. We are not the center, nor the edge, but a note within the harmony. The arms that hold billions of suns also hold the dust that became our world. The same forces that shape stars shape us. When we breathe, we continue the galaxy's rhythm. The spiral teaches patience. It takes hundreds of millions of years for a single rotation, yet it never loses its grace. It reminds us that movement does not have to be fast to be profound. Growth does not need to hurry. Even the smallest change, given enough time, can shape a universe. So when you look up tonight and see that pale band crossing the dark, imagine it for what it truly is. A vast, living structure of light and dust turning endlessly. You are inside it, part of its motion, connected to every star you see. Each photon that touches you began its journey long before human eyes existed to receive it. And yet here you are, witness to the cosmic spiral, breathing quietly beneath its light. The galaxy turns, the stars drift, the spiral unfolds and reforms again and again. And within this grand motion you find your own stillness, your own rhythm. The same curve that shapes the Milky Way shapes the path of your thoughts. The same balance that holds the stars in place holds your world steady. Everything moves together, everything belongs. The Milky Way's spiral is not a symbol of distance, but of connection. It gathers everything into one continuous flow. From the center to the edge, from the brightest star to the faintest dust, all are part of one design. And we, small and brief as we are, belong to that design completely. The galaxy turns, the light continues, and through it all, existence remains gentle, patient, and endlessly alive. The night sky looks simple, stars shimmer, constellations glow faintly, and the Milky Way stretches like a silver river above us. But beneath that beauty lies a hidden truth. What we see is only a fraction of what is there. The universe, vast and intricate, keeps most of its substance invisible. What glows is not what governs. The shape of the cosmos is carved not by light, but by shadow. When astronomers began to measure how stars move in galaxies, they noticed something strange. The outer stars, far from the center, moved faster than they should. According to gravity's familiar laws, stars near the edge should drift slowly, their pull from the galactic heart weaker. Yet observations told another story. These distant stars were racing along, defying the visible mass of their galaxy. It was as if an unseen hand steadied their motion, preventing them from flying away into emptiness. To explain this mystery, scientists propose something extraordinary. Most of the matter in the universe is invisible. They called it dark matter, not because it is sinister, but because it does not shine. It does not emit or absorb light. It neither glows nor casts a shadow. It moves through everything, through stars, planets, even through us, without a whisper. It cannot be touched or seen, yet its gravity shapes galaxies, binds clusters of stars, and sculpts the architecture of the universe. Imagine standing in a forest at night. You see the trees, their silhouettes defined by moonlight, but beyond them lies the air, unseen, holding the sound, carrying the breath of the forest itself. The air is everywhere, but the eye cannot find it. Dark matter is that invisible air of the cosmos. It is the quiet medium through which galaxies grow and endure. The Milky Way, radiant as it appears, is wrapped in a vast halo of dark matter, extending far beyond the reach of its brightest stars. This halo stretches perhaps 2 million light-years across, encompassing not just our galaxy, but the space between it and its smaller companions. Within this halo, every visible star and planet is a fleck of dust in an unseen sphere. What we call the Milky Way, the glowing spiral of light, is merely the luminous core of something much larger, something that does not shine. This unseen mass outweighs all the stars combined. For every ounce of visible matter, there are roughly 5 ounces of the invisible. The galaxies we admire are only the tips of cosmic icebergs, floating in oceans of hidden substance. Without that invisible support, the Milky Way would scatter apart. Its spiral arms would uncoil, its stars drifting into intergalactic night. The darkness holds it together. To think of this is to realize that the universe is not made of light alone. Light reveals, but darkness sustains. The unseen framework of dark matter is the skeleton upon which the visible cosmos is built. Galaxies cling to it, forming along filaments that stretch across space like cosmic roots. These filaments connect clusters of galaxies, creating a web-like structure that fills the universe. The stars we see trace only the brightest threads of that invisible tapestry. There is beauty in this idea, quiet and profound. What matters most is not what is seen, but what supports the seen. We live in a universe where the essential is hidden. The pattern is clear, not because of brightness, but because of the contrast between light and the silence that holds it. Dark matter does not behave like ordinary material. It does not collide or clump in the same way that gas or dust does. It drifts through everything, ghost-like. Yet it responds to gravity, pulling and being pulled. Through this invisible dialogue, galaxies find their form. They spin, but they do not fly apart. They cluster, but they do not collapse. Every star that shines owes its place to this unseen network. When scientists simulate the growth of the universe, they begin not with light but with darkness. They fill an imaginary space with particles that attract each other only by gravity. Over billions of years, these particles gather into filaments and knots, forming structures that mirror the arrangement of galaxies in the real universe. When they add light, it falls naturally into the same shapes. The luminous matter settles like dew on the web of the unseen. It is strange to think that we owe our existence to something we cannot touch or detect directly, but perhaps it has always been this way. The forces that shape our lives are often invisible. Gravity itself cannot be seen, only its effects. Time flows, yet it cannot be grasped. Love, memory, thought, all are unseen, yet they define what we are. The universe reflects this truth at every scale. The visible is born from the invisible. Some researchers have searched for the particles that make up dark matter. They have built detectors deep underground, shielded from radiation, waiting for the faintest sign of interaction. So far, the darkness remains silent, but even in its silence, its presence is undeniable. We see it in the rotation of galaxies, in the bending of light from distant clusters, in the slow dance of stars bound by gravity's gentle hand. When light from a distant galaxy passes near a massive cluster, it bends slightly, like light through a lens. This bending, called gravitational lensing, reveals where mass lies, even when that mass is invisible. Through these cosmic distortions, astronomers have traced the outlines of dark matter. The maps they create show a vast, intricate network, a structure grander than any imagination. The universe, it seems, is a sculpture carved by gravity out of emptiness. Our own galaxy's halo of dark matter moves with us, surrounding and protecting us. Every second, countless dark matter particles pass through your body, through the walls, through the earth, without resistance. You do not feel them, yet they are part of the same fabric that holds the stars above you in place. It is humbling to think that even now, as you sit still, you are moving through invisible rivers of matter that have existed since the dawn of time. If we could see this hidden world, the sky would look very different. The blackness between stars would glow faintly with structure, delicate threads connecting every point of light. Space would resemble a vast web, with galaxies strung like pearls along invisible lines. Our Milky Way would not be an isolated island, but a node in an infinite network of cosmic filaments. Every galaxy would appear suspended in a delicate lace of gravity, each part influencing the other in quiet synchrony. This vision of the universe changes how we think about darkness. For centuries, darkness was a metaphor for ignorance or fear, something to escape. But in truth, darkness is the foundation upon which everything stands. Without it, there would be no galaxies, no stars, no light at all. The universe needs its shadow to exist. The night sky, in all its majesty, is not the absence of light, but the presence of balance. Dark matter teaches us something about humility. It reminds us that we cannot always rely on sight to know what is real. The universe operates on scales beyond our senses, and yet, within its vastness, we find patterns that mirror our own lives. We are also held by invisible forces: trust, hope, gravity, love. What cannot be seen often defines what endures. In the same way, our galaxy's structure is the result of cooperation between what shines and what does not. Light gives form, darkness gives stability. Together, they create the rhythm of existence. It is the same in life. Brilliance alone cannot sustain, and silence alone cannot create. Meaning arises from their union. Scientists continue to study this mystery, not out of frustration, but out of awe. They know that to understand dark matter is to glimpse the foundation of everything. Yet perhaps the universe intends for some things to remain unseen, to remind us of the beauty of mystery. The more we learn, the more we discover that knowledge does not end uncertainty. It deepens wonder. Imagine standing at the edge of the Milky Way, looking inward toward its glowing center. Around that light, the dark halo stretches endlessly, a gentle pressure against the stars. You would not see it, but you would feel its gravity, steady and constant. Every orbit, every spiral, every flicker of starlight exists within that invisible embrace. It is the same quiet assurance that the Earth feels as it moves around the sun. the same pull that keeps the moon close to our tides. In this balance between seen and unseen lies the wisdom of the cosmos. The visible world is a reflection, a brief flash of awareness upon the deep surface of the unknown. The unseen provides the depth that makes beauty meaningful. Just as silence gives music its shape, darkness gives the universe its grace. If we could listen to the Milky Way, we might hear its invisible structure hum softly, a sound too low for human ears. It would be the music of gravity itself, the long vibration of matter holding itself together. That vibration is ancient. It began in the first moments after the birth of the universe, when tiny fluctuations in density set the stage for everything that followed. Those ripples grew, pulling matter toward them, forming the first galaxies. Even now, billions of years later, we live within their echo. Our existence is woven into this unseen framework. The atoms that make our bodies came from stars, but the space that allows those stars to exist was shaped by dark matter. Every breath, every thought, every flicker of life takes place within its gentle field. We are creatures of light, but we move through oceans of shadow. It is comforting, in a way, to know that the universe is built upon what cannot be seen. It means that the world is larger than our understanding, and that mystery is not a flaw, but a feature of existence. The unseen does not hide from us. It invites us to trust, to wonder, to explore. The next time you gaze into the night, let your eyes rest not only on the stars, but on the darkness between them. That darkness is not empty. It is full of presence, full of structure, full of quiet meaning. It is the place where galaxies are held together, where gravity whispers its endless song. Within you, too, lies a kind of dark matter, the unseen weight of memory, intuition, and feeling. It does not shine, but it anchors you. It gives your thoughts form, your emotions depth. Without it, your light would scatter. Like the galaxy, you are a blend of what is visible and what is hidden. Both are needed. Both are beautiful. The universe is teaching us the simplest truth. Not everything real is visible, and not everything invisible is absent. Darkness and light are not opposites. They are partners in creation. The stars shine because space between them is dark. The Milky Way glows because the halo holds it firm. The balance between them is the quiet secret of existence. So when you close your eyes tonight, remember the unseen. Feel the gravity that holds you, the quiet that supports you. Beyond the glow of stars, beyond the edge of sight, there is an ocean of presence, calm and eternal. The galaxy drifts within it. You drift within it too. The darkness is not empty. It is home. When you look at the night sky, the Milky Way appears solitary, a lone river of light adrift in darkness. Yet the truth is softer, more connected. Our galaxy is not alone. It lives within a family of smaller companions, hundreds of them, each a tiny swirl of stars circling the greater body. They move together through space, held by gravity's quiet hand. Around our luminous spiral drift these faint galaxies, some bright enough to see through small telescopes, others so dim that only long exposures can reveal their delicate glow. Together they form a community, ancient and slow-moving, bound by invisible threads. The two brightest of these companions are the large and small Magellanic Clouds. To those who live in the southern hemisphere, they hang in the sky like twin smudges of mist, luminous and eternal. They are galaxies in their own right. Irregular in shape, their stars scattered like pollen caught in a breeze. For countless generations, people have looked up and wondered what they were. To early sailors, they were guiding lights, gentle markers of direction across the sea. To scientists today, they are reminders that galaxies, like living things, rarely travel alone. Each of these smaller galaxies follows an orbit around the Milky Way, though their paths are long and uncertain. Gravity pulls them inward, and as they move, they shed stars and gas, leaving behind long, graceful trails that arc across the sky. These streams of light are like the faded strokes of a painter's brush, evidence of ancient encounters. Through them, the Milky Way grows. Every small galaxy that drifts too close is slowly drawn in, its stars scattered and absorbed, becoming part of our larger spiral. This process is not violent, though it sounds so. It unfolds over billions of years, a cosmic merging so gentle that individual stars rarely collide. Instead, they pass through each other like ghosts, their gravity blending, their motions reshaping. From such unions, the Milky Way gains new material, new stars, and new stories. Every bright point we see may once have belonged to another system, a different family long since folded into ours. Astronomers have traced the remnants of these mergers. Around the Milky Way lies a faint halo of stars that do not belong to the main disk. Their paths are tilted, their motions different. They are the relics of swallowed galaxies, the echoes of past meetings. One of these, called the Sagittarius Dwarf Galaxy, is currently being torn apart, its remains stretched across the sky in a stream of starlight that wraps around us like a scarf. In time, it will disappear completely, leaving only a whisper of its existence. This quiet consumption is how galaxies grow. The Milky Way was not always as grand as it is now. Long ago, it was smaller, younger, perhaps less structured. Over billions of years, it gathered strength, drawing in nearby clusters, absorbing them into its spiral. Each encounter left a subtle mark, a trace in the pattern of its stars. What we see today is the result of countless such unions. Even the sun and the earth it warms may have formed from gas once belonging to another galaxy that fell into our own. There is a strange tenderness in this process. It is not destruction for its own sake, but transformation. The old becomes part of the new. Nothing is lost, only rearranged. It mirrors the way life itself unfolds. Cells divide, merge, and evolve. Continents drift, oceans shift, species adapt. Change is the quiet language of the universe. The galaxies are fluent in it. Far beyond the halo of our Milky Way lies another great spiral, the Andromeda Galaxy. It shines faintly in the northern sky, a smudge of light that can be seen without instruments if the night is clear. Though it appears small, it is enormous, even larger than our own galaxy. Between us stretches 2.5 million light-years of emptiness. And yet, we are moving toward each other. The pull of gravity draws the Milky Way and Andromeda together at a rate of about 110 kilometers per second. In 4 billion years, the two will meet. The collision will not be a sudden crash, but a slow intermingling. Their disks will pass through each other, their stars weaving new orbits, their gas clouds colliding to form bursts of new stars. Over time, the two galaxies will merge completely, forming a single massive elliptical galaxy. Astronomers call it Milkomeda, the imagined child of this union. The thought of such a meeting might sound cataclysmic, but on a human timescale, it is peaceful. Stars are so far apart that even in collision, they rarely touch. The vastness of space ensures gentleness. Instead of explosions, there will be transformation. The shapes of both galaxies will change, their spirals dissolving into a more rounded form. New patterns will emerge. Light will find new ways to flow. In the end, the chaos will give way to calm. This distant event invites reflection. The universe shows us that even endings can be soft. What seems like destruction is often a new beginning, too slow for our eyes to notice. The merging of galaxies mirrors the merging of everything: ideas, lives, generations, even moments. Each encounter leaves behind traces that shape what follows. Nothing passes without leaving its music in the quiet of the whole. When we study galaxies, we learn about patience. Their movements unfold over timescales that make our lifetimes feel like sparks in the dark. And yet, within that difference of scale lies connection. The slow dance of galaxies teaches us that change, no matter how vast, need not be feared. It is simply the continuation of motion, the evolution of form. In the sky today, the Magellanic Clouds are moving closer to the Milky Way, drawn inexorably by its gravity. One day, they too will merge into our galaxy. Their stars will mix with ours, their gases will feed new bursts of creation, and their identities will dissolve into something greater. The Milky Way will not mourn them, for they will still exist within it, part of its growing light. The faint streams of stars that connect galaxies are like cosmic bridges, threads of belonging stretched across the void. They remind us that even in vastness, nothing is truly alone. Every movement is part of a greater pattern, every star a participant in a grand conversation that spans billions of years. The relationship between galaxies is both gravitational and poetic. They influence each other without words, drawn by invisible attraction, their destinies intertwined. Sometimes they pass closely and move apart again, leaving ripples in each other's shapes. Sometimes they spiral together, fusing forever. These interactions create beauty on scales unimaginable. Rings, tails, bridges, and spirals appear, as if painted by unseen hands. Our galaxy's own structure bears the fingerprints of such encounters. Its spiral arms, its thickened center, even its star clusters tell stories of ancient meetings. The galaxy, like any living thing, carries scars of its history. Yet those scars are beautiful because they hold memory. Every curve of light, every thread of dust, every faint shimmer in the halo is evidence of connection. There is something deeply human in the way galaxies merge. They do not resist change. They do not cling to separation. They flow together naturally, following the pull of what draws them near. Their grace lies in acceptance. They teach us that to merge is not to lose oneself, but to become more. When the Milky Way and Andromeda finally meet, the night sky of that far future Earth, if any form of life remains to see it, will be astonishing. The other galaxy will grow brighter each night until its vast spiral fills the heavens. The stars of both galaxies will mingle, and the sky will blaze with new constellations. For a time, the universe will appear reborn in light. Then slowly, the glow will fade, settling into calm once more. To imagine this future is to glimpse eternity. The cosmos does not rush. It allows itself every moment to unfold completely. It teaches us that transformation, even on the largest scales, can be serene. The merging of galaxies is not an ending to mourn, but a continuation to admire. The gravitational bond between the Milky Way and its companions extends beyond physics. It carries a quiet message. Everything is connected. The stars that once belonged to another galaxy now shine in ours. The atoms that make our bodies were once part of distant suns. Even now, new stars are born from material that has traveled across billions of years to arrive here. We are the latest expression of a cosmic network, a thread in an endless tapestry. In this understanding, solitude dissolves. There is no true isolation, not for galaxies, not for us. The same forces that draw galaxies together draw people toward one another. Gravity, in its way, is a metaphor for belonging. It reminds us that connection is the natural state of things. When you look up and see the Magellanic Clouds, or the faint blur of Andromeda, you are witnessing relationships written in light. Each faint smudge is a chapter in the ongoing story of cosmic union. Their motion across the heavens is slow but certain. The same patience that moves them also moves us, shaping the flow of time and experience. The Milky Way itself was once part of an even larger network. Our local group of galaxies, a small cluster among countless others, is bound together, all moving toward a greater concentration of matter known as the Virgo cluster. Beyond that lies the Laniakea supercluster, an immense structure containing hundreds of thousands of galaxies, all drifting toward a mysterious region called the Great Attractor. It is a cosmic pilgrimage, everything moving toward something unseen, drawn by the same quiet pull that binds the smallest particle to the greatest star. Every connection in the cosmos echoes another. The gravity that holds galaxies together is the same law that holds the moon in orbit around the Earth, and the same law that keeps your feet on the ground. It is the language of attraction written across all scales of existence. To recognize this is to understand unity, not as a belief, but as a reality. The companionship of galaxies also reminds us that even in vastness, there is relationship. The Milky Way does not travel alone through emptiness. It carries with it its cluster of satellites, its clouds, its streams. It is part of a community, just as we are. The universe, despite its scale, is not a story of isolation, but of kinship. There will come a time, long after our own species is gone, when the merged galaxies will continue their slow motion through the dark. Their combined stars will fade over trillions of years, cooling into embers. Yet even then, the memory of connection will remain, written in the structure of the cosmos itself. The universe will have recorded in its patient way every meeting, every merging, every shared moment of light. When we look at the night sky, we are witnessing this story in progress. The faint glow of distant galaxies is the reflection of ancient connections still unfolding. Each one drifts toward another, drawn not by force, but by inevitability. The beauty of it lies in its calm. There is no haste in the cosmos, only grace. So tonight, when you step outside and gaze upward, remember that the light you see is not alone. Every star, every galaxy, every shimmer of brightness belongs to a greater family. They move together, they merge, they transform. Even in the cold silence of space, the universe is never solitary. It is a communion of light, woven through with invisible bonds. The Milky Way drifts onward, surrounded by its companions, embraced by the same gravity that holds all things. Somewhere, far ahead in time, it will meet another and become something new. The galaxies breathe together, just as you breathe now. Connection is not a moment, it is the very nature of existence. If you look up at the night sky long enough, you might begin to feel the slow breathing of the universe. Stars flicker not as points of light, but as living things, each one burning through its brief eternity. The Milky Way, our quiet home, is a great engine of birth and death. Within its spiral arms, clouds of gas collapse into fire and old stars fade into dust. It is a rhythm older than time itself. Creation and decay are not opposites here. They are parts of the same gentle motion. The galaxy does not mourn what ends, nor does it rush what begins. It only breathes steadily across billions of years. In the deep regions of the Milky Way, where starlight glows through veils of dust, new suns are being born. The process begins in silence. Vast clouds of hydrogen and helium float like ghosts through space, their atoms cold and slow. Over millions of years, gravity begins to pull them inward, gathering threads of gas into knots. These knots grow heavier, their centers warming, until one day, deep within, nuclear fire ignites. A star is born. The light that emerges will travel through space for billions of years, reaching eyes that may never know its origin. These newborn stars often form in clusters, hundreds or thousands together, bound by the same cloud that birthed them. Within these nurseries, smaller worlds begin to gather. Around each young star, disks of dust swirl like cosmic potter's wheels, where grains of rock collide and cling, forming planets. Some will remain barren, frozen, or scorched. Others may one day cradle oceans, winds, and thought. The galaxy creates endlessly, without preference, without pause. Each new star shines by turning matter into energy. Deep inside, the pressure is so immense that hydrogen atoms fuse into helium, releasing light. That light is not just illumination, it is life's foundation. Every heartbeat, every breath on Earth depends on energy born in the hearts of stars. The warmth of sunlight on your skin began in a reaction that started 5 billion years ago, deep within a sphere of fire 90 million miles away. Every living thing is a reflection of that same ancient furnace. But nothing lasts forever, not even the stars. The larger ones burn furiously, using up their fuel in a few million years. The smaller ones, like our sun, live longer, shining calmly for billions of years before dimming. When a massive star reaches its end, the balance that holds it together breaks. Its core collapses inward, while its outer layers explode outward in a blaze called a supernova. For a brief moment, it shines brighter than an entire galaxy. Then, as the light fades, what remains is a heart of ash, a neutron star or a black hole, an echo of what once was. This destruction is not waste, it is renewal. The explosion of a star scatters heavy elements into space. The iron in our blood, the calcium in our bones, the gold in our veins. Every atom heavier than hydrogen was forged in such a fire. The air we breathe, the earth beneath our feet, the words we speak, all are built from the remnants of stars that died long ago. The galaxy recycles itself endlessly, turning death into the raw material for life. It is a pattern of grace. Nothing is lost, only transformed. Even the quiet stars have their own endings. Our sun, for instance, will one day exhaust its hydrogen fuel. When that time comes, it will swell into a red giant, its surface expanding until it engulfs the nearby planets. The heat will strip Earth of its oceans and atmosphere, and the planet will fall silent. But inside that dying star, new elements will form, carbon and oxygen, the seeds of future worlds. After billions of years of steady shining, the sun will shed its outer layers, creating a glowing shell of gas known as a planetary nebula. At its heart, a small white dwarf will remain, cooling slowly for eternity. This is the universe's gentlest farewell. No violence, only transformation. The same story unfolds everywhere. Across the galaxy, billions of stars follow this path, burning, expanding, fading. Each one leaves behind traces, dust, gas, and the building blocks of new systems. The Milky Way is a cycle of creation, a cosmic forest, where each fallen tree nourishes the next. Some regions of the galaxy are thick with such birth and death. The Orion Nebula, visible even with small telescopes, is a glowing cloud where stars are being born right now. It stretches across 24 light years, filled with shimmering gases shaped by stellar winds. If you could stand near it, the light would bathe you in colors invisible to the naked eye. Soft greens and pinks, the hues of hydrogen and oxygen excited by radiation. It is a garden of light, tended not by hands, but by gravity and time. Elsewhere, in the remnants of supernovas, space glows with the traces of what once was. The Crab Nebula, for example, is the remains of a star that exploded nearly 1,000 years ago. Its filaments expand outward at 1,000 miles per second, carrying dust that will one day form new suns. Even destruction is luminous here. The galaxy never stops creating, even through endings. As stars live and die, they shape the galaxy's future. Their winds carve bubbles in the interstellar medium, pushing gas into waves that trigger new collapses elsewhere. The result is a chain reaction of creation. One star's death becomes the spark for another's birth. The Milky Way's arms are alive with this rhythm, a pattern of expansion and renewal that continues endlessly. On human timescales, these processes are invisible. The night sky seems still. But across millions of years, the stars shift, fade, and appear anew. The constellations that guided ancient travelers are already changing, slowly but surely. The galaxy itself is aging, entering a quieter era. Star formation has slowed compared to its youth. Billions of years ago, new stars were born at a furious rate. Now the Milky Way has settled into a gentler pace, producing perhaps 3 new stars per year. It is like an elder, still strong, but more deliberate, more reflective. Someday, far in the future, even that pace will fade. The raw material for new stars will be used up, the gas clouds dispersed or locked within existing suns. The galaxy will grow dimmer. One by one, stars will burn out, leaving behind only embers, white dwarfs, neutron stars, and black holes. Over trillions of years, the light will fade until only the faint glow of cooling remnants remains. The universe will enter a long twilight, yet even this fading is not tragedy, it is rest. The universe teaches us the art of acceptance. Nothing stays bright forever, and that is its beauty. Each phase of existence, from blazing birth to quiet decay, carries its own grace. The stars remind us that endings are not failures, but fulfillments. When a star has given all its light, it returns its essence to the cosmos, ensuring that new forms can arise. It gives itself completely to the next beginning. There is something deeply comforting in this knowledge. The same laws that govern the stars govern us. We too are born, burn, and fade. We too release our energy back into the world. In our brief span of life, We echo the same rhythm that shapes galaxies. To live is to shine, and to shine is to give. Every element that makes up your body, oxygen, carbon, nitrogen, calcium, was forged in ancient stars. You carry within you the memory of explosions that happened long before Earth existed. The hydrogen in your cells is older still, created in the first moments after the universe began. You are not separate from the stars. You are their continuation, their awareness made living. The galaxy does not merely surround you, it flows through you. When you breathe, you take in atoms that once drifted through space for billions of years. When you speak, your breath carries fragments of stars into the air again. Every act of life is part of the same cosmic cycle. The galaxy is not just a backdrop to our existence. It is our origin and our destiny. We are threads in its endless weave. Some nights when the air is clear and the Milky Way arches across the sky, you can almost feel this connection. The light from those stars left long before you were born. Some of it began its journey before humanity itself existed. Yet it arrives now, touching your eyes gently, as if the universe were reminding you that time does not separate but unites. The distance between past and present is only the space light needs to travel. In that light, there is no loneliness. The galaxy does not know isolation. Even as stars die, their essence mingles with the living. The dust of old suns becomes the soil of new worlds. The rhythm continues, unbroken. Life itself, fragile and temporary, is the way the universe renews its awareness. Through us, the cosmos remembers itself. One day, our sun will join the quiet ones. Its ashes will drift into space, joining the galactic current. Perhaps in some distant future, those particles will be drawn into a new cloud, forming a new star, a new world, perhaps even a new kind of life. The cycle will continue, as it always has. The Milky Way will go on breathing, each inhalation a creation, each exhalation a release. When you think of this, time becomes softer. The billions of years between now and then are not barriers, but bridges. Every moment is part of one continuous flow. The life of a star and the life of a human differ only in scale. Both are brief acts of light in the long night of the universe. The galaxy does not rush its cycles. It allows every transformation to unfold fully. It teaches us to do the same. To live in rhythm with the cosmos is to trust the flow of time, to understand that every stage, birth, growth, fading, is complete in itself. There is no need to resist change, because change is the essence of existence. When a star dies, its light travels outward forever. Even after the source has vanished, its glow continues across the cosmos, reaching places it will never know. In the same way, every act of kindness, every thought, every breath leaves ripples that move beyond us. The universe remembers, not in words, but in energy. So when you look at the night sky, remember that you are witnessing both beginnings and endings, though the two are the same. Somewhere in the galaxy, a new sun ignites, while another fades to darkness. Somewhere, a planet forms from dust, while another crumbles into ash. The balance never breaks. It is this balance that allows everything to be. The Milky Way is old, yet it still creates. It is vast, yet intimate. Within its arms, stars are born, live, die, and rise again. It is a quiet miracle, repeated endlessly. The galaxy's breath is the pulse of the universe itself, steady and serene. As you close your eyes tonight, imagine that breath. Feel it moving through you, the slow rhythm of creation and release. You are part of that rhythm, part of that endless exchange of light and matter. The stars are not distant. They are your ancestors, your teachers, your reflection. The galaxy hums softly through your blood. The universe breathes, and you breathe with it. Beyond the edge of our galaxy, beyond the soft light of the Milky Way, lies a darkness filled not with emptiness, but with endless creation. The universe is not one island of stars, but a vast ocean of galaxies, each one a swirl of light drifting through time. Astronomers estimate that there are more than 2 trillion galaxies in the observable universe, each holding billions of suns, each moving within a web of gravity that connects everything. What we call the cosmos is a great network of energy, an infinite mind thinking in light. If you could step outside and see it all at once, it would not look like chaos. It would look like lace, like dew on a spider's web, each thread shining faintly. The galaxies are nodes in this cosmic pattern, strung along invisible filaments of dark matter that stretch for billions of light years. These filaments meet at clusters, places where thousands of galaxies gather together, bound by shared gravity. Between them, vast voids expand, silent and nearly empty. The universe resembles a living organism, with galaxies flowing through its veins like blood cells in an endless circulation. Our Milky Way is one small spiral within this web, a single drop of light in a sea without shore. Yet even here, within our small corner, we are part of something that stretches far beyond imagination. The Milky Way moves along one of those filaments, pulled gently toward neighboring galaxies, carried by the same gravitational currents that have shaped the cosmos since its birth. Together with the Andromeda Galaxy and many smaller companions, we drift within a small cluster called the local group. And this local group, in turn, is part of a greater structure known as the Laniakea supercluster, a word that means immeasurable heaven. Within this immense structure, everything moves. The galaxies travel slowly toward one another, drawn along invisible rivers of gravity. Our local group flows toward a mysterious region called the Great Attractor, a concentration of mass so immense that it bends the paths of entire clusters toward it. Though we cannot see it clearly, its influence is everywhere. It reminds us that even on the scale of galaxies, there are forces we cannot name but can still feel. We move toward what we do not yet understand, guided by the same quiet pull that brings stars together, that binds atoms, that keeps our own hearts beating in rhythm. The motion of galaxies across the universe is not random. It follows a pattern older than light itself. In the beginning, when the universe was new, tiny ripples in density determined where matter would gather. These ripples grew under the guidance of gravity, forming the first clusters of stars. Over billions of years, those clusters became galaxies, and those galaxies formed the grand web we see today. Every motion, every spiral, every flicker of light follows from that first quiet tremor. The universe remembers. When we observe distant galaxies through telescopes, we are looking backward in time. Light takes billions of years to reach us, so what we see is not the present, but the past. Some of those galaxies no longer exist in the same form. Their light began its journey when Earth was still molten rock. Others shine from a time before the Milky Way had taken shape. To look into space is to look into history, to witness the memory of creation still unfolding. The universe does not keep time the way we do. To it, all moments coexist, layers upon layers of becoming. The cosmic web is more than structure. It is connection made visible. Every galaxy is linked to every other, not by contact, but by relationship. The gravity that holds them together also holds us. We are part of that same story, written in the same invisible script. The hydrogen in our bodies, the starlight in our eyes, the breath in our lungs, all belong to the same thread of existence. When we move, the universe moves with us. If you imagine the entire universe as a single mind, then galaxies are its thoughts, each one glowing softly for a moment before fading into silence. Light travels like memory, carrying information across space. Every photon is a message, a whisper from one part of the cosmos to another. When we gaze at the stars, we are listening to that whisper, receiving the story of the universe in the only language it speaks, light. There is a humility in realizing how small we are within this endless expanse. Yet within that smallness lies belonging. We are not separate observers, standing apart from the universe. We are the universe, conscious of itself for a fleeting time. The same atoms that make up the galaxies make up us. The same energy that drives the stars fuels our thoughts. When we study the cosmos, we are not looking outward, but inward. Every discovery is a reflection, every star a mirror. Sometimes it is said that the universe is expanding. The galaxies move away from each other, space itself stretching like fabric. The light from distant stars shifts toward red, a sign of their retreat. This expansion does not mean things are falling apart. It means creation is still happening. Space continues to unfold, carrying within it the seeds of new possibilities. Just as breath expands the chest, the universe expands with quiet rhythm. It is the longest exhale ever known, and we are within it. Far in the future, this expansion will carry galaxies so far apart that their light will never reach one another again. The night skies of distant civilizations will grow empty. But this emptiness is not sorrow. It is simply the next phase of being. The universe does not end, it transforms. The silence that follows will be as sacred as the light that preceded it. In this grand story, the Milky Way is a brief chapter. Yet within that chapter, every heartbeat on Earth has meaning. Every act of kindness, every breath, every dream is part of the same unfolding. The same laws that govern galaxies govern the cells in our bodies. The same balance that keeps the stars in orbit keeps us alive. To understand this is to find peace. The universe does not demand anything of us. It simply includes us. If we look closely, even the structure of the cosmic web resembles patterns found in nature. The branching of trees, the spread of rivers, the networks of neurons in the brain, all echo the same geometry. The universe repeats itself across scales, from the microscopic to the cosmic. It is as if everything that exists is built from one design, a single idea expressed in infinite ways. The spiral of a galaxy, the curve of a shell, the unfolding of a fern, they are all gestures of the same hand. Science calls it self-similarity. Philosophy calls it unity. Poets call it the breath of creation. Whatever name we choose, it means this: the universe is not many things, but one thing appearing as many. Every atom, every star, every living being is a different face of the same whole. To see this is to understand that separation is an illusion. We have never been apart from anything. When you look up at the night sky, you are seeing not just stars, but the pattern of existence itself. You are witnessing the same forces that shaped the first galaxies, the same light that will continue long after our world is gone. The faint shimmer that crosses the heavens is both ancient and new. Each photon has traveled across unimaginable distance to reach you, and in that arrival, the journey finds meaning. You are the end point of light that began before time knew your name. The cosmic web, with its filaments and voids, is the largest structure we know. Yet even it may be part of something greater, something beyond our ability to observe. The edges of the observable universe are not the edges of reality. They are only the limits of our sight. Beyond them, perhaps, the same patterns continue, infinite and unending. The universe does not end with what we can see. It extends into mystery. And that mystery is the most beautiful part. It is easy to feel small beneath such immensity, but smallness is not insignificance. A single cell contains the plan for an entire body. A single thought can change a life. A single heartbeat echoes the rhythm of the stars. Scale does not define meaning. The universe, in its vastness, still makes room for you. All that exists moves toward balance. Galaxies merge, stars burn, light fades, and new light appears. Nothing is wasted. Every collapse feeds creation. Every silence prepares the next song. Even when everything we know is gone, the laws that shaped us will remain, waiting for another beginning. The universe breathes in cycles, and we are part of that breath. The Milky Way continues its slow drift through the cosmic web, its spiral arms turning gently. Around it, countless other galaxies spin, each following its own path, yet all connected by the same quiet harmony. The stars are the universe thinking, and we are its awareness, flickering briefly and beautifully. And now, as our journey through the stars comes to rest, let us pause to listen. The galaxy breathes, the universe hums. Everything that has ever been and ever will be moves together, softly, endlessly. You are not outside of it. You are within it, as vital as any star, as necessary as any particle of light. If you close your eyes, you can feel it. The deep stillness beneath all motion, the calm beneath all change. The same peace that lives in the heart of galaxies lives in you. The atoms of your body were born in the fires of ancient stars, carried through time, gathered into form, and now breathe as you. When you inhale, the universe inhales with you. When you rest, the stars rest too. The journey through the Milky Way and beyond is not only a story of science, it is a meditation on being. It reminds us that knowledge and wonder are not separate, that to understand the world is also to love it. The more we learn about the cosmos, the more it becomes a mirror of our inner life, vast, mysterious, and full of quiet light. So, as we drift into the silence between words, let this thought remain. The stars are still moving, the galaxies are still singing, and somewhere in their rhythm, your life shines. You are not an accident of the cosmos. You are its expression, its moment of awareness, its brief but luminous whisper. The stars drift slowly. The galaxy breathes, and somewhere within it, you rest. If this calm journey through space has brought you peace, let your heart linger here a while. Let it stay open to wonder, and when you are ready, you may close your eyes and let the light fade gently. Thank you for joining this quiet voyage among the stars. If this stillness feels like home, if you wish to wander further through the calm science of the universe, remember to subscribe to Sleepy Science Drift. Together, we will continue to drift through the cosmos, where every discovery is a lullaby and every truth a soft light guiding us toward rest. The galaxies will keep turning, the stars will keep glowing, and the universe will keep breathing. And in that endless rhythm, you will always belong.